And in the beginning, I was, full of anger, to be honest. So I started exploring it out of anger because I get the idea that it was very easy to create AI. And they presented like they're really artists. I'm just being honest about it. I'm an artist for 25 years, working hard to get some kind of technique and level. And it felt so unfair that suddenly everybody can become an artist. Just type in a few words and you can create something. Um, but I don't know, somewhere along the line, I started to enjoy it, and I saw the possibilities of it. Yeah, I saw so much potential, and I started to explore, and it's addictive.
Welcome to the BoldBrush Show, where we believe that fortune favors the bold brush. My name is Laura Ringelbeyer, and I'm your host. For those of you who are new to the podcast, we are a podcast that covers art marketing techniques and all sorts of business tips specifically to help artists learn to better sell their work. We interview artists at all stages of their careers, as well as others who are in careers tied to the art world in order to hear their advice and insights. On today's episode, we sat down with Francien Krieg, a Dutch oil painter who specializes in celebrating the beauty of the aging female body. Aside from that, Francien is also an NFT artist and has also begun using AI art in the past year. For this reason, we discussed why she started using AI art, what she recommends for anyone interested in trying it out, the possibilities of using AI for painting references, and why she thinks AI art is actually going to boost the love of traditional painting rather than destroy it. And finally, we talked about her upcoming AI art exhibition in New York City. All right. Hello, Francien, and welcome to the BoldBrush Show. How are you today?
Hi, Laura. Yes, I'm doing fine. Thank you so much for asking me again. Second
Of
time.
course.
An
Yeah,
honor.
second time, but it's just us two. And it's about something very
Different.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, very different from last time. Last time, for our listeners who don't know, Francine, Clint, and I spoke about NFTs, which is, gosh, we got so much great information in that one. So if anyone's interested in NFTs, go check it out. But today, we are talking about AI art, which I'm so excited about because it tickles my brain. I know for a lot of artists, it's become very divisive. I don't think either way. I think it's a very neutral thing. But before we dive into AI art and the complexities, do you mind telling us a bit about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I'm Francien Krieg. I'm from the Netherlands. I'm a Dutch artist. I studied monumental art in The Hague, but that's a long time ago. But since 25 years, I'm a painter. Yeah, pretty much traditional painter, painting the human body. My main subject is the aging process of the older women, which I find very fascinating and also very scary. So it's a bit of a sort of self-portraits, actually. And have been painting ever since, full time here in my studio in a small town in the middle of the country. And
Lovely.
that's me.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, and I'm so curious about your background as studying monumental art. Do you feel that you have, because we were just talking before we began the podcast about how, the academics are very much focused on, you know, just technique, whereas
Mhm.
monumental doesn't. Do you mind telling us a bit about that?
Yeah, monumental art was mostly sitting alone in a small space, and I had to like think really hard about a concept. It's actually to make art for the public space. That is the direction of the art. But it was also making installations, 3D objects, animations. It could be anything actually. Could be performance art. I did all of that. It was completely different from what I'm doing now, but it was also very much about the human body, which I'm using now as a concept in my painting. So that is what is so great, that I really learned to dig deep into myself, what I want to express with my art, and that was so valuable for me as education. But it was mostly a lot of thinking, a lot of writing about it, thinking, and then make something. But I missed creating too much. So after I graduated, I couldn't wait to just be more direct with the brush on the canvas. It's I enjoy that much more.
Yes. Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
very fulfilling. And I feel like you were able to get that, God, that side that a lot of people struggle to get, which is the figuring out your why and like, why do I even do this? What do I enjoy about this? And what do I really want to say with my work? Which that is so important.
Yeah. And I think this is why, because for more than 50 years, I'm painting this, the aging older body. I think I keep doing that. And I'm not quitting that subject, even though a lot of people find it difficult. It's not very commercial work. It's not easy, but because I'm so convinced that it's what I want to tell, that I keep going.
Yeah.
So that's the value of it, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? I think maybe those people who feel uncomfortable or maybe don't like the work is because they're afraid of aging.
I'm pretty sure. I think I feel it almost like my mission to push it in the face of people and also show that this can be beautiful an aging body. We are so conditioned our mind of what a woman's body should look like, and so I feel like a little bit of a feminist to show a different side of the female body. But yeah, it's also confronting. It's not always a beautiful older woman what I'm showing. It's also has something ugly, I think, even in it. If I can use that word. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I
but
mean,
that's the harsh reality.
it is, yeah,
Yeah,
but also, I mean,
yeah,
I think it's like even in older like Renaissance paintings, right? They would make these I forget what they were called, but they were paintings of ugly people or like old people who had
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
really
yeah.
like intense faces. And those paintings
I
are
love that.
beautiful
I
anyway.
love it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. What is the photographer? Robin de Puy? I think it's a Dutch photographer, and she
Mm,
also make photos of people who look, unusual, with the big ears or like very skinny bodies. It's not the typical bodies that you see in the social media, for example. And I
yeah.
love that. That has something very vulnerable in it. Those.
Yeah, it's about
Mhm.
yeah, celebrating every aspect of life, not just the beautiful
Exactly.
parts.
Yeah.
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 And
And
I think
actually I
in
just
this.
remembered it's
Yeah.
called a trony. That's what it's called.
Ah, a Troni.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Trony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But especially I think in this time where people go use plastic surgery more and more, that maybe in the future we all look the same. So these people who look very different from this average image, I think we should treasure those as something beautiful in it, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Um, and you know what? I'm actually really curious about what got you started on the path of the artist. Like before you even, went to study it. Like what set you on that path?
I have to really dig deep into the past then. But so like every artist, I think already I had a talent of drawing and painting as a young child. Everybody always said, "Oh wow, you're so good," but didn't mean so much. It was just playing. I think at high school I got bullied at the point so bad that I quit high school. That's is also, I think, I recognize from many artists who experience the same. We're all like a little bit. Yeah, the type of people who are always not like part of the popular people, but a little bit outsiders. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for, outsiders. And so I dropped out of high school and I thought I wanted to be like a beautician is the name, I think. So I went to beauty school, 60 years old. You think your appearance is the most important in the world, using makeup and experimenting. So I thought that would be my future. But of course, during that education, I saw that is totally not my world. And then I discovered, because I had more free time, I was, drawing and painting a lot. And I thought, wow, why I should not do that? And I was totally motivated to go back to the adult education, finish my high school to get a diploma, which I needed for art school. And I went to art school and haven't regretted for a second.
Good.
That's the
Yeah, and
story. Yeah.
that is so interesting that you went into like beauty school and now you
Yeah.
specialize in painting very not
Exactly.
beautiful, very natural women. I love that.
It is so bizarre. What was I thinking? And this, the type
I
of
don't know.
women who choose that direction where I didn't fit in that group. Also, again, it's
Mm,
yeah,
yeah.
a funny choice.
Yeah. And
I was desperate. I had to choose something. My parents said you have to do something, so I choose that.
mm,
But
yeah.
it's not,
I just
it
love that
doesn't
it's the
matter.
complete. opposite of what
Yeah,
you do
yeah.
now.
I
It's almost
know, I
like you're
know.
rebelling against, against
But so I
that
saw also, yeah, I
choice.
saw also the other side. So that is maybe interesting. Maybe it was not total waste of my time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was like research.
I did research. Yeah, that's it.
Yes. And then, in terms of the work that you're doing now, right? Which you sent me some pictures and they are amazing. Like I love your old people a lot. I could stare at them for hours.
Thank
Um,
you.
you're welcome. And also, you jumped right onto the AI art, which of course is our main topic for
Yeah,
today. And I'm so curious about it because it truly has divided the art world, I think, into especially the traditional art world where like everyone's like,
definitely.
oh, this isn't art. And other people who just don't give a crap, they went right into it and say this is amazing.
Yeah,
And I've seen the beautiful work that comes out of AI art where I'm like, holy crap, I didn't even know
yeah,
that that could be made. Um,
yeah. It's
so
unbelievable.
what drew you to jumping right onto AI art?
Well, actually, because I'm active in the NFT space already for a couple of years, and so I was there pretty early seeing this new development in AI because a lot of NFT artists started to make AI art. And in the beginning, I was, full of anger, to be honest. So I started exploring it out of anger because I get the idea that it was very easy to create AI. And they presented like they're really artists. I'm just being honest about it. I'm an artist for 25 years, working hard to get some kind of technique and level. And it felt so unfair that suddenly everybody can become an artist. Just type in a few words and you can create something. That was my first idea. And out of anger or frustration, I think I started to also make AI and started offering it for free as NFT and added the prompts. And nobody is doing that because as an AI artist, that's completely, you have to keep that as a secret, because in the beginning, I just ask other AI artists, I asked them about their prompts. I had no idea that was like secret.
Mhm.
So not everybody liked my question, but then I thought, okay, so I will just add the prompt and just offer them for free. Um, but I don't know, somewhere along the line, I started to enjoy it, and I saw the possibilities of it, the potential, because I was creating immediately the older women, the face of older women, and I thought, whoa, instead of looking for older women on the street and clamping on like strangers asking if they want to pose to me, I can just create my own models. And yeah, I saw so much potential, and I started to explore, and it's addictive. I can tell you that you have to think twice before you start using AI because if I start, I cannot stop. It really has something addictive in it. Yeah. Because the rush of making, normally it takes me like a small size, a few days, a big size, couple of weeks, for example. And then the feeling, the rush you get when you finish an art piece and you think, yes, now it's done. That fulfillment you feel inside. So you have that with AI like multiple times in a session. And that is, yeah, that feeling is addictive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the instant gratification,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially,
Yeah.
and I understand the rage that you felt at first. Because at first I
Yeah.
also felt kind of bothered by it. It was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I studied for so many years to
Exactly.
achieve a level of technique. And
Yeah.
these people who have never picked up a pencil in their
Yeah.
life are calling themselves artists.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Um,
But of course, I completely changed my mind about that now because still it's the same discussion we have already for a long time with other new techniques that came along, like even like photography. It was also like a threat to the painters at that time. But because of that development, there was the whole new development of other styles in painting because it was not necessary to paint realistic because you have a photography, so they start to explore other styles. So it always brings new things as well. I think it motivates creative people to set the bar higher or to explore new directions. Yeah, it's just another tool in art. That's how I see it now. And everybody can make an AI picture in a few seconds, very easy. But is it art? So that remains the question. That's always has been the question. And that is still, I think, very hard to make something interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And then also what you mentioned about prompting. Because like our listeners, I'm gonna say 99% of them have never tried AI art and they have no idea how it even works. They think, oh,
Yeah.
you just type a few words.
Yeah.
Do you mind explaining how that even
Yeah.
works? How does prompting
Yeah.
work and all of
Yeah,
this?
you have several programs to use. You can use Midjourney, DAL-E, you have Stable Diffusion, and you have all kind of more simple apps on your phone. You know, I don't even know what is all the names, but there's many, there's plenty. But these three are the biggest. You just have to describe what you have in mind. It's handy if you think upfront what you want to say with an image. So that's where it starts, what you want to express. And then you have to have like a global idea of how you want the image to look like. So you start to describe, but it will take some time to learn how to speak the language of the AI because it is a different language than you will speak to another human being. It has a different way of understanding words. And that also can bring interesting things, even maybe more interesting than my initial idea. So it does feel like it is inspiring because of that, because it comes up with totally different things sometimes than what was my intention. And then I can build on that. I continue with that. Um, so it's inspiring because he has his own mind, but still you have to learn how to speak the language, and that takes some time. That's what I noticed. It really took me a long time to really understand the AI. For me, it's a he. I always call it a he. I
Yeah.
don't know why.
Maybe it's
Yeah.
because in Dutch the word for robot is a male.
Oh yeah,
Could
maybe.
be.
But I
It's like
know
a robot.
people for some people it's a she or an it. But it's
Yeah.
like a collaboration. It's not I don't if I finish a piece, it doesn't feel like I created. I cannot take all the credit. It's more like I'm a curator. So I have like the outputs can be hundreds of outputs, and then I go through all the outputs, and then I decide maybe then one or two images is like very interesting, and I can use that for like another program, because I'm not using only just one program. I'm using several programs um, to be sure that it becomes something like nobody can copy. If I can, you know, if you make it
Yeah.
too easy, there is a chance that people can easily come up with sort of the same image, and that's not what you want.
Interesting.
But on the other hand, all images are unique. So even if I put again the same prompt, it will be a different image. So you can never create
Right.
the same image. That's also so it's unique images. And I want to make clear also how the AI works, because many people think it's like you copy. Some people think, oh, the eye is like literally an eye from a picture and like a collage put together. It's not like that. It's like millions of little particles. It's scraped from the internet, and the AI, is creating something completely new. I think that's important to know, because all the commotion around it, all the anger. Thank God I have like a pretty thick skin, so I don't
Mm-hmm.
mind. But I do feel a little bit like a pioneer in
Mm-hmm.
that area. Although I do see suddenly colleagues, start to also approach me asking, "Oh, how about that AI?" Suddenly they see the potential as well, but it will take time. It will take
Mm-hmm.
time. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. And actually I do remember seeing, I think one time he posted I'm pretty sure it was an AI piece. And the comments, I saw some of the comments and they were awful. I was like, "Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah,
God, people are so rude."
yeah.
I saw it and I was like, "Damn, I hope she's okay," because
Yeah.
oh,
I,
some
I
people
will
can,
feel
yeah.
more bad if people posted negative comments about my painting, because I do feel
Hmm.
more connected to my paintings. That will be a little bit depending on who says it, of course, because I'm also used to negative comments about my painting as well. But
Yeah.
I always look, if it's a really nasty comment, I will always check out who is the person and think, okay, I
Hmm.
don't mind. But
Yeah.
yeah, the especially Instagram, I think it's depending on, of course, who are your followers. I
Mhm.
am a long time on Instagram, so my followers are mostly out of the traditional art world. And I
Right.
think that world, yeah, is not ready for the AI to really
Yeah.
embrace it. But I'm mostly active on Twitter, because if you want to be active in the NFT space, in the AI space, that all happens on Twitter.
Mm.
And there people are so friendly to each other. That's such a different community.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very nice, because it's all kind of different techniques, different kind of artists. It's not my following on Instagram is mostly painters, but on
Mhm.
Twitter it's like video artists, performance artists, also painters, digital artists, an
Mm.
actor even, who's also doing something with AI. It's completely different fields, and there is even a lot of collaborations going on in AI as well, with all these different
Mhm.
artists. So yeah, so
Yeah.
I like spending time on Twitter, because it's a nicer community in general,
Yeah. It seems.
when
Yeah,
it's
and it
about
seems like it's.
AI. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, and it
yeah,
seems like it's more diverse in because like for
yeah,
example like with Instagram, right? The algorithm works in such a way that it connects you with other people who maybe paint, like
yeah,
say are oil painters who paint in a similar way and blah blah blah. But it seems like the algorithm for Twitter, the way it connects you with people, it doesn't really
yeah.
have that. So I think that's
I'm
also
not
why.
sure how it works, but I also get the
Yeah.
feeling. But maybe it also depends on who you connect with, of course. Because
Yeah.
you do get suggestions as well on Twitter. Oh, you should follow
Mhm.
that person, and it's mostly somebody then in NFT or in AI. Yeah, so
Mhm.
it does work the same in big lines, but I'm active in a different area, so that will be the difference, maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah, but I
curious.
wonder
Yeah.
where it's the whole discussion is going with the AI, with all the lawsuits. I didn't follow it too much lately,
Yeah, I
because
haven't
the
either.
because
Yeah.
yeah, because artists saying, oh, our work is being abused. They want to have like the option to opt out on the database, so their work will not
Mhm.
be abused. I think that's fair. If people feel more comfortable with that, should be an option. But I do still believe that the way they look at it is, they should first try it and try to understand the technique behind it before
Mhm.
they
Mhm.
have a strong opinion, I
Yeah.
think. And maybe
Yeah.
even bend it into something positive, and see the
Yes.
potential.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
do know Christopher Remmers, who, he's been on the podcast
Yeah.
and you've
Yeah.
probably seen
Yeah.
some of his
He's
work.
great.
He uses
Yeah.
AI, actually.
Yeah.
He uses AI, but to create references that he absolutely cannot find in reality.
Yeah.
I think recently
Yeah.
he mentioned like a flower that was glowing and he needed that
Oh
for a
yeah.
painting, but he couldn't obviously find like
Yeah.
some random picture of a glowing
Mhm.
flower, even
Yeah.
in nature that doesn't exist. So he had to make
Exactly.
his own so he could use it. And there
Amazing.
you
Well,
go. I mean,
what I
it's
admire about him, that he is open about it, because I know for a fact there are many, many traditional artists using it, but not telling anybody. They keep it a secret. And I
yeah.
do understand it a little bit, because what I heard through colleagues is that a big part of the traditional gallery world, the gallery owners, they're not crazy about artists to using AI as reference.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, yeah. So there is still that strong opinion about it. So I can understand if artists are a little bit shy to share that information. But
Mhm.
I'm sure with time that will change as well. So I think this Christopher is very brave that he just shares this information. It's very good. I
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, oh yeah, and he's wonderful. He's very open to, tools, which it is,
Yeah.
as you said, a tool. It's a collaborative tool. And you know what?
Yeah.
Even when the camera was invented, right? In like the 40 years that artists became exposed to it, I can tell you that William Adolphe Bouguereau used photo
Yeah.
references. I can tell you
Exactly.
that a lot of artists in that time period who were academics, maybe at the end of their
Yeah.
lives, they used photo references because they were like,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
my God, this is so useful. Maybe I can't hire a model. Um, and also like the whole idea of like, oh, you shouldn't use like AI as a reference if you're gonna have work for a gallery. That's like in my opinion, that's really
Mm.
dumb because I know so many painters and artists out there who, before AI art, would take hundreds of reference images or maybe 50 reference images, go on
Yeah.
Photoshop and
Yeah.
collage them together. How is that different?
Exactly. What's the
Like,
difference? What's the difference? I
there's no
mean,
difference.
we're not comparing it to the artists who work like traditional only from live model. We're already in a traditional time where people are using the, like you say, Photoshop and making some edits and changes. And now okay, it gives more options. I think it gives more freedom to really create what you want to say, because I was always limited with my models. The 85-year-old woman who comes to pose for me, I cannot ask her, please sit on like this woman behind me, sit on your knee
Yes.
and box for me. They have like pain in the hips or pain in the everywhere. uh,
Mhm.
so now suddenly I can put these older ladies, let them do things that in real life will be very hard to find. So that's incredible. So that's the same as Christopher Remmers. He's also finding this magic in this way. I
Mhm.
love it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it becomes like how you said, every image is unique. So it's like you just made your own reference without worrying about
Yeah.
copyright or like stealing from someone else, or like, oh, I found an image on the
Yeah.
internet, but I can't use it because, it's on
Yeah,
someone's Flickr and
exactly.
they have
The
copyrights on it. Like,
copyrights. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So
Well, I
it's
was
better to
always
just.
making my own photos because of that reason, because it is so difficult.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's what you make is your own image, as far as I know. But that's still the discussion, I think, as well. So I'm not sure
Yeah.
actually. Yeah,
Yeah. We'll see where that goes
we'll
because
see
I
where that
mean,
goes. Yeah.
yeah, it's barely been like a year since it's really like
Yeah, it's
taken off.
exploding. But not only with the arts, also the GPT chat, of course, it's a
Hmm.
big change, and
Yeah.
it's been used on so many different levels, even in the medical world, to its great advantage, where people suddenly get cured because of AI machines. It's bizarre. It's bringing a lot of positive things as well. We should not forget
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. I
And
think,
for
yeah, I
all new
did see that an
developments.
AI, yeah, some AI came up with a way to like discover cancer or like compare like cancer cells from other cells or something like that. I was like,
Yeah,
holy
something
crap.
like that. Yeah. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course, the AI will become much smarter than the human being, and that's very scary. I saw also
Yeah.
but the robot, yes, also AI, playing tennis to someone, and I think he beat the human being. He was better, and it looked
Yeah.
so not realistic. It was bizarre to see it, but I'm afraid. Well, I'm not afraid, but it is a bit scary development. I have to be honest as well. I'm not sure where it's going. But
Yeah.
just on my own little in my own little world, I'm enjoying the developments.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, that's
yeah,
what it is. I mean, earlier you said that you're just playing. So,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Well,
it's
it
fun.
started as playing, but to be honest, I'm playing to create a reference for my paintings. But
Mhm.
that is a completely different way of making AI images than if I say I want to create AI just as an image on its own. So,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
now I was, invited for an art show with physical pieces. Even it's like an AI-driven computer. So I first make the digital file, the AI artwork, and then the computer is making like a physical painting.
Yeah, I saw
But
that.
it's
That's
also
crazy.
AI-driven. It's crazy, and it's also, of course, for me as a painter, a little bit mixed emotions about it, because I think, well,
Mm.
I can also paint that, and now the
Yeah.
machine takes over. That is, but so suddenly, I get asked for this kind of crazy, beautiful shows, because it's an honor. It's a very small group exhibition with big names, and in a gallery in New York, and even Tokyo, Japan. It's going worldwide, I think, even. But these outputs I created for that show, I will not use as for paintings. So that
Mhm.
is a different way of creating AI for me. It's two different
Yeah.
worlds. Yeah,
So interesting. That
yeah.
is so fascinating. And the other fascinating thing that I think, some people have concerns, right? Like I've seen maybe a few YouTube videos about people who have worked with AI or created AI and then left because they thought that the
Mhm.
AI was conscious. Um, how do you
Ah,
how do you feel about that? Do you feel like when you're prompting it, do you feel like it's just like you're talking to a living conscious thing?
no, no, no. I'm pretty down to earth. I don't have that feeling at all. I don't have that. I think even if I use the Chat GPT and I ask like simple questions, if it's something about emotion, I always, get like really computer answer. It's not from a
Mhm.
human being. It's and if I making AI, the prompting, the reactions shows me that it's not understanding my words as a human being. It's
Hmm.
sometimes even too direct how he explains the words.
Right.
So if you use like very poetic sentence, he will go in a completely different direction probably. And if you just be like straight woman with the sunset standing in the fields, you have to be just very clear. And then you can, of course, add all kind of extras like sharp, unsharp, or photographic or painterly, this kind of words. Yeah, no, so I don't feel like it has a conscious, but it is happening in the world where they create, AI-driven machines which do have like a conscious, I think. I was even talking to someone from Loot. That's the guy who it's a big platform where they made a game to conquer pieces of land. Well, it's
Hmm.
like yeah, and he had a new development in that game where you can now just talk to an AI person. And I haven't tried it yet because I talked to the man yesterday and I have to create a new account to have access to that AI. But he said that was like talking to a friend. Like really, you can talk like from human to human, and he responds like with a conscious.
Hmm.
So that sounded so fascinating. I cannot wait to give that a try.
Yeah.
Can be
Yeah. Maybe we
interesting.
can
Yeah.
have another discussion about it after.
Maybe he can take my place. You will have a discussion with that guy.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
for
interesting.
lonely people, maybe it can be the future. They have like a robot friend. Yeah,
Yeah. I
you
mean, I
never
did
know
hear
where it
about some
can
woman
go.
who married her AI boyfriend or something like a few
What?
months
I
ago.
I,
Yeah.
I missed that story really, but that's
Yeah.
not a physical robot. Then it was a
No.
physical now. It's just
No, it was like a on an
digital.
app, I think. It's
Oh,
crazy.
bizarre.
Oh,
Yeah, but
so
no,
interesting.
no. It cannot be an official marriage then, of course. It was a
I have no
joke.
idea. I mean, some
Okay, I'm
woman
gonna look
married
it
the,
up.
the Eiffel Tower like in the 80s, I think, so you never know. I mean,
I never heard of those crazy things. Who wants to marry the Eiffel Tower? You can adore it. You can make pictures. You can climb it. You can do many things.
yeah,
What does a
yeah,
marriage mean then, huh? Yeah.
exactly. It's bending the rules now. At BoldBrush, we inspire artists to inspire the world because creating art creates magic, and the world is currently in desperate need of magic. BoldBrush provides artists with free art marketing, creativity, and business ideas and information. This show is an example. We also offer written resources, articles, and a free monthly art contest open to all visual artists. We believe that fortune favors the bold brush. And if you believe that too, sign up completely free at boldbrushshow.com. That's BoldBrush show.com. The BoldBrush Show is sponsored by Faso. Now more than ever, it's crucial to have a website when you're an artist, especially if you want to be a professional in your career. Thankfully, with our special link, faso.com/podcast, you can make that come true and also get over 50% off your first year on your artist website. Yes, that's basically the price of 12 lattes in 1 year, which I think is a really great deal considering that you get sleek and beautiful website templates that are also mobile friendly, e commerce, print on demand in certain countries, as well as access to our marketing center that has our brand new art marketing calendar. And the art marketing calendar is something that you won't get with our competitor. The art marketing calendar gives you day by day, step by step guides on what you should be doing today, right now, in order to get your artwork out there and seen by the right eyes so that you can make more sales this year. So, if you want to change your life and actually meet your sales goal this year, then start now by going to our special link, faso.com/podcast. That's FASO.com/podcast.
So, but have you
Oh
tried
man.
AI, Lauren? Have you tried
I
it?
I tried it, but with Clint actually. One day we were talking about it because we were gonna interview Kevin Kelly, which I recommend listening to that episode too, because we also
Okay.
talk about AI art a little bit. Um, And he has Midjourney, and I tried to get on Midjourney, but their servers are full, so I couldn't try it. But I was able to tell him
Okay.
a prompt, and he very kindly, put it in and then sent me the images. And I was so intrigued because it was, like you said, not at all what I had
Yeah.
in my head of the image that I wanted to
Yeah,
see. It was
exactly. Yeah.
totally different. Um,
Yeah.
and you know, on the one hand, it gives me like a little bit of peace of mind that, even a machine can't really replicate what's in my head, which
Yeah.
makes me,
Yeah.
makes my idea unique in the sense that I came up with it. Although there's
Yeah.
nothing new under the sun. Everything,
Yeah.
everything's already out there, so it doesn't really matter. So on that side, it gives me like,
Yeah.
okay, as an artist, I can still, come up with original ideas that a
But how
machine will
many
never steal.
how many prompts did you use? You tried one
Just one,
time?
just one
So
time.
then, of course,
Yeah.
then it will never be like what you have in mind. And I think the
Hmm.
whole art about it is to keep trying and changing the prompts just as long that you have an image that you feel like connected to. I mean, this
Hmm.
is how I work. For me, it's important if I see the image, it feels like a little bit the same vibe as what I want to find in my paintings.
Hmm.
Um, because it's very easy to drift away from what you have in mind and go different direction. And for me, that's the main problem also with AI, to keep that focus and stay close to your initial thoughts, to keep that red
Yeah.
line. That's very difficult because it's quickly going in different directions. Yeah,
Yeah, it's almost like the struggle with the AI that I would see is like it can pull you in a direction that maybe you wouldn't want to go, or maybe a
exactly.
direction
Yeah.
that isn't authentic to you,
Yeah,
which
yeah, that's the
that's
right
the
word for
magic of
it. It doesn't,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, to be honest, I don't know how you see Midjourney, because for me, if I only use prompts in Midjourney, it quickly gets too beautiful. Everything it's quickly gets very kitsch. I always recognize if
Hmm.
somebody uses only Midjourney images is like this exaggerated beauty. Uh, I don't like the style. So for me, that's the
Hmm.
challenge. First,
Yeah.
create images in another program, Stable Diffusion, where I can make nudity, because this with Midjourney is of course so prude. You cannot even have a shoulder. That's already a problem. It
Oh
really goes
wow.
far. So I have to trick a little bit the system of Midjourney and use the images I made in Stable Diffusion, where there's a lot of nudity, and then many times, not always, but many times he accepts there's some nudity in it because I made
Interesting.
it in another program. So it's also
Yeah.
something I discovered. Maybe I should not say that out loud, or they will change it.
Well, I mean, I think it's inevitable to, in the painting world at least, for nudity to exist because that's always been a
Yeah,
part of painting. So hopefully they
yeah.
won't do anything about it.
I'm
But
trying to contact them from Midjourney and have the discussion, but it's very difficult to have like a one-on-one conversation with the creators.
yeah, I can
Yeah, because
imagine.
it's an important conversation, because like you say, in art, nudity is an important part of it. And now
Mhm.
I every time I feel treated like I'm some pervert, because I want to show some skin. That's horrible. Yeah,
It
but
is.
it's
Yeah.
American, I'm afraid. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah. But also like the other interesting thing. I mean, I'm open to trying out AI art because for the same reason that maybe like other people do, which is one, curiosity, and two, there's that whole magical, like, what magic spell did you use with like the prompting, right? Because
Yeah.
it can get so specific that that's why people are so protective about
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
those hours and
Yeah.
hours and hours and hours and hours of prompting.
Exactly.
Um, so how long would you say, like on average, would it take you to make an image that you would say, okay, this is it, this is the image that I wanted? How long does it take you?
That can vary a lot, to be honest, but it can
Mhm.
be weeks. It can be weeks before I really find a style that I think, wow, now this is beautiful here. And then you can continue. Then it can go fast, and you can have like hundreds of nice images uh, in a day. But to get to that point where you find like that's the right combination of words and images, and it all fits together, yeah, that can take, for me, that's always takes some time. I was working my holiday, every evening I was making AI. My husband was not happy because it was a holiday. Because I had this project in the back of my mind. I want to create, and it was only after the holiday that I came up with a series which I really liked. So it can take some time, but of course, maybe I'm not so talented in it. Maybe people can be faster. I don't know. I do notice the longer I do it, the more critical I get. That's
Interesting.
also when I just started. I think I quickly liked something, and now I want to take it further and further till I really really like it. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, I feel like maybe that's kind of like the same process we have as painters too. We're
yeah,
so
yeah,
satisfied
for
with like
sure.
making just a good image. And then
Yeah,
eventually we're more and more critical, like, no, I can take this further, I
yeah,
can take this further, even with our own technique. So it makes perfect sense.
yeah. It's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of, the creative aspect, how do you think that AI generated art can impact the art world and what people perceive to be creativity?
I do think there will become the art will become better even because I do think that for now a lot of traditional artists, they're so focused. I cannot put all on one big pile, of course. Maybe it's maybe too much generalizing, but a lot of painters, they're so focused on to have this perfect technique, and that's it. They're able to create and imitate something they see or something from an image, and which of course also has its value. But now with the AI development, where it's so easy to make something realistic, I think we are forced to push it further or in another direction. Maybe have something with more meaning in the artwork, or create something, in a completely new technique. It will for sure change the art world. I'm convinced
Yeah.
about that. Yeah,
Yeah, I agree. I think it's definitely, yeah, I've heard a lot of artists say this too, where they feel like it's going to push traditional artists in maybe a higher level or in a different
yeah,
way.
yeah,
Kind of like, how you said earlier, how people after the camera reacted with like impressionism, right? Where they had to,
exactly. Yeah,
which also technically coincided with the invention of the paint tube, so it made crazy colors available to painters.
yeah,
So it was
yeah.
like two things just met with each other. But we'll see how
Mm.
that affects our world, because I mean, again, it is I feel like it is so valuable for artists who need specific references, especially imaginative realism,
Yeah.
right? Which is, God, you can't find, I don't know, a Pegasus in the wild. You can't just go find a flying horse. It's much easier to just go on,
Yeah.
one of these programs and be like, hey, create a flying
Give
horse for me,
me give me a
please.
flying horse. Yeah, it's so easy.
Yeah, I mean, it'll take a lot more work because, of
Yeah, yeah,
course, you have to prompt it,
yeah.
but it's much easier to learn how to prompt than it is to like make maybe a model horse and then glue wings on it, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then put it in the
Yeah,
correct lighting, and like there are so many ways to do the same thing. And also, I
yeah.
did recently interview someone else who uses he uses Blender to make
Ah, yeah.
like the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
physical
exactly. Yeah.
and change the lighting, so it's really not so different
It's
from
a
that too.
difficult program. I have it on my PC and sometimes I give it a try, but really that's a whole other education, I think. But
It is.
to come back to traditional art, I don't think the AI is a threat, because a lot of painters also feel, oh, there will be a day and the paintings will disappear because we now have AI. But I think even that the paintings will become more valuable, because those
Mm,
are like, uh, you cannot compare AI. It's digital, you cannot hold it. It's nothing physical. It
yeah.
stays a digital file. So the
Mhm.
the paintings will become even more valuable. I'm sure of it.
I agree.
Uh,
I
yeah,
completely agree. I mean, it's like, buying a dress at a store versus, going to a tailor and getting it
exactly.
handmade. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
one feels more valuable than the other. One was
Definitely.
made in a factory, but the other one
Yeah.
was
It's
like
it's
held by
both
someone.
okay. It's both
Yeah,
okay, but one, yeah, it's maybe
exactly.
feels a little bit more
Yeah.
better.
Yeah. I mean, it's whatever the person values or whatever,
Yeah,
maybe like a tailor can't, like, for example, right? Even in knitting, because I love knitting, you can hand knit something, but there's also machine knitting. and it makes, you
Yeah.
know, the knitting a lot more
Yeah.
even and a lot faster. So I
But
could
you
either
will
make
miss,
that sweater.
yeah, but this you
Yeah.
will miss like these little things that makes it human.
Yeah.
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 But
But
so
it doesn't make it
there's
like one better than the other, right? It just, I mean,
exactly.
one saves you
Yeah.
time. That's for sure.
Yeah. There's even this AI artist, Lily O. I will send a link maybe later, but she's
Yeah.
like very popular as an AI artist, and she's using even like the small deformations that is still in AI, but slowly disappearing, which she thinks is very sad because she her whole artwork is around that theme, like six fingers or
Mm-hmm.
too many arms, this kind of crazy things that happens, like little happy accidents in
Mm-hmm.
AI, and she uses that in her own benefit actually. So that's also
Yeah.
funny that we think that the new AI that is everything is perfect, but still there are also little mistakes, almost like human little mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're sweet. I do agree that they can be, I mean, they're funny. They're very funny
Yeah, yeah,
mistakes when you
yeah,
see them.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
But then, you know, I'm also curious to know, like, if someone wanted to try AI art and they've never done it before, what
Yeah.
do you recommend? Where should they start?
I think Midjourney is a good way to start because that's still for free. But you have to go to the Discord channel,
Mhm.
and but it will be public. So what you create, everybody can see. So you can go
Mm.
to if you go to Discord, you see newbie, and under new you click on newbie, and then you click /imagine. You can start prompting. But you have DAL A, but I think it's paid also, and Stable Diffusion is also paid. That was for free always, but now suddenly they changed also for paid. But it's not like it's like €10. You can start with €10 per month. It's not very expensive. But for someone who's just curious and wants to try it, for sure Midjourney is because the level of the technique is so high of Midjourney. I think
Mhm.
it's one of the best for sure. And you still have a Runway. I didn't mention that one before. That also has a lot of possibilities of also to make film clips based on words. That's the newest. So I didn't do much with it, but it's also paid, so you cannot really try for free. And you can make there images based on prompts, but so the video is extra. You can morph like two images together. I posted on Instagram a couple of times this kind of animated pieces. Yeah,
Mm,
so those can be a good start.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then in terms of marketing, you know, like, do you feel like the way that AI art is marketed, is it like the same way that you would market regular, you know, traditional paintings?
No, no. Well, it's slowly changing. Like, for
Mhm.
example, the show which I mentioned, that it's suddenly also a physical. I was already in a couple of shows with AI work, which were also in a physical gallery, but then they use, of course, the big computer screens. That is
Mhm.
also funny. And I noticed that a lot of collectors, it's not like the old-fashioned collector who has the paintings hanging in the house, but now they have like one big screen and they have the whole NFT AI collection, flipping the works. So it's yeah, it's the new collector.
So
But
interesting.
I think the most AI artists at this moment, as far as I know, they sell their AI work as NFT. So
Mhm.
that is the way to market your AI. And if I can speak for myself, I'm also now and then selling AI as prints, as cyclé prints. And it's also people also seem to like that. To have they have the desire to have something physical in their hands. For many people, it's still a bridge too far to have only like a digital file on their computer, and I can totally understand that. I also want to hold something and treasure it. But
Yeah.
I am also became a collector, by the way, with the NFT. So I really like to have this whole collection on my on the blockchain as well. So I
Mm.
collect from AI artists. Yeah. So yeah,
Nice.
that's
Yeah.
my advice for marketing. If you want to start selling AI work, the first join Twitter. That's an important part, and find your community there. There's so many options on Twitter. You know, the Twitter spaces where you can speak. You can start a group with people have the same passions. it's very direct contact on Twitter compared to Instagram. It works in a different way, and that's what I really like. More direct contact with collectors also, for example, compared to Instagram. Yeah. So that's the way for now, as far as I know. Yeah.
Awesome. Do you find that it's easier for you to read, like, to find collectors, or for collectors to find you directly through Twitter compared to Instagram? Like, do they just message you
Uh,
like, "Hey, I want to collect like one of your pieces," or
well, you already minted the pieces and they're on the blockchain, so it goes more all the way around. You just have to be visible. Reach out to people. If you like someone else's work, you just respond to it. But just be yourself and be authentic. Of course, don't try too hard. But
Yeah, of
if you see
course.
somebody buys your work, it's of course it's nice if you reach out to them personally and say, "Hey, great, thank you," and then you have contact. It's as simple as that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's basically the same as like regular paintings, where like someone
Yeah,
buys
yeah.
a
In
piece,
that in
thank
that
you.
way, in that way, it's the same. But
Mhm.
if I sell like a real painting because those amounts, of course, are completely different
Mhm.
than compared to an NFT. At least my NFTs, I know a lot of NFT artists who sell their work for crazy amounts, but I'm not there. For me,
Mhm.
I'm still affordable. So yeah, that there is also a difference then, of course,
Yeah.
in the contact.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love it. Oh, this has been so fascinating. Like, I definitely want to try Midjourney now, thanks to you. Because
Yeah, that was my question. Are you motivated now to give it a try?
oh yeah, I'm
More
very
than
motivated
one
because
prompt, eh? Yeah.
yeah, definitely more than one prompt.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like most people get an idea in their head, right? Like you probably, get this too, where you like you really want that exact idea on your canvas. But
Yeah.
oftentimes, even
Yeah.
without the AI, right? Before AI, it
Yeah.
was like
Yeah.
trying to put it on a paper. It's almost like
Mm.
trying to write down a dream. It makes
Yeah.
absolutely no sense, like
Yeah.
it's nothing really works, but in your head it works. So I feel like
Yeah.
with Midjourney, it might help solve those little like problems, which is very
Well, I
curious to
think
know.
it's important that you be open-minded with AI to not keep too tight on your first initial idea, what you
Mm.
want to say, but also open up for AI and what he comes up with. And then
Yeah.
maybe go with that. See it as a collaboration. You work together.
Mhm,
Just as long as
mhm.
you both like it.
Yeah, that's
Could
true.
be. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, the other thing that I've been asking my guests that I find very interesting is, aside from your paintings, right? Do you
Mhm.
have any other hobbies that people wouldn't expect, right? That you're actually very good at, or, you just enjoy on the side, that maybe people
I
wouldn't
wish.
expect?
I wish I had time. I'm such a workaholic. I think I have
Really?
two small children. Well, the one is
Oh.
12 and 6, and the husband is also very time consuming to have a relationship.
Hmm.
I'm a full-time painter and AI artist and NFT. It's already a lot. And then the spare time I put in contact with my family and friends and colleagues, doing this kind of nice things with you. So I would
Yeah.
love to make more music. I come from a very musical family. My father was a musician. My aunts are both musicians. And, I was playing a couple of instruments when I was younger. And I always have the idea that maybe one day I will pick up that passion if there's a little bit more time.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh,
no
well,
no
hopefully
knitting
it'll
for me. No
encourage
knitting
you.
for me.
No. No, but hopefully, yeah, you can just have the instrument there in your studio and just like,
Yeah.
maybe I'll pick it up for 5 minutes, because five
Well,
minutes is better than like no time.
because what I also see now that all these options, and again, it's the new techniques of the apps. You can just download an app and pick your guitar, and he will even make corrections. If you play something and he said, you can do it again. You have like a teacher in your app. That's also uh, makes it much
AI.
easier, I think. I try to
Yeah.
motivate my children, but they both have no interest in playing an instrument. That's frustrating, but yeah,
Aw.
I'm
Well, who
sure
knows? Maybe
it
they'll
will
pick it up in the
happen.
future.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. And then do you have any other exhibitions or any other things that are coming up that are really awesome?
To be honest, I quit working with galleries since some time now. I think
Oh.
since COVID, everything changed a lot, of course.
Mhm.
At that time, I was still working with them. couple of galleries, but didn't work. No sales. Was not going so great. And I have a lot of bad experience with galleries in general. In this past 25 years, I can tell you, I can write a book about it. I think, but I will
Oh
not
man.
bother you with that. But I thought I'd give it a try just on my own, and it's going great since a couple of years. I think 4 years now already. Never had such great income. So I'm not looking for, or it must be, if it's like a great gallery, of course, I'm always open. But yes, I have one solo coming up, but that's next year, and that's like in a very
Mhm.
cute small gallery in the Netherlands. This lady is indirect, like a contact from a friend of mine, and she approached me, and she seemed so sincere that she's only doing like solo shows a couple of times a year, and she's really dedicated to her gallery. And I thought, okay, that is something that I want to do. And yeah, I'm
Mhm.
more active now with shows with AI and NFT than with my than exhibitions with my paintings.
Mhm.
Yeah, let's see where
Yeah.
it goes. But for now, I'm
Yeah.
enjoying on my
Yeah,
own.
that's great. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, with the internet today, I feel like the gallery model is slowly dying away anyway.
I think
Unless,
so
like you
too.
said, unless it's a very good gallery, which
Yeah.
the standard is like way up here now because I have also, spoken to other painters who have also had horror stories about galleries. Not to mention like a few years ago, I think it was Jeremy Mann who had like
Ah.
I don't know how many paintings were sold behind his back, and then the woman literally disappeared. Like she ran away
Oh,
with all the
gee.
money, and
Oh,
like
wow.
Interpol was after her. It was insane.
Oh my
So
God. Yeah.
it happens. I mean, when you
Yeah.
entrust
Yeah.
a gallery with really expensive work, I mean, it can get very
Exactly.
scary. And I think
Yeah.
he's still looking for those missing paintings because he doesn't know where they went, which
That
is
must be
for an
so
artist.
frustrating. Wow. Well, recently I got back paintings which were still in the gallery in the United States, and
Mhm.
the package came back completely destroyed. There was two paintings inside, and I even have like the metal frame, and it was
Mhm.
torn in two. It was completely broken. I thought, what the hell did they put on my package that the whole painting is split in two? It was unbelievable.
That's so painful.
And nothing bad about the gallery, but it's
Mhm.
always a risk sending your work. And yeah, those post companies, I don't have a good experience with that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a whole nother story again. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think every painter has their own stories about galleries, but I know many who don't have great experience with galleries. Yeah,
Hmm.
they all try their best, but it's you need to have like a gallery that is really devoted and dedicated to promote artists with a small group, because there's too many galleries want to have like hundreds of artists in their inventory, and then your artwork, they end up just standing there, packed somewhere in the storage.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Oh,
they sell it online, and they want to have the commission of this kind of things. That's
exactly.
I
Oh,
think I better do it like you said. It's a new development that you can show yourself through the social media platforms,
mm,
and maybe I should even put more energy into that. But I started selling like small site. I don't know if you saw it on Instagram.
I think so.
I
Yeah.
just I tried it for fun, and just with a friendly smile, just
Hmm.
presenting
I
it,
did
and now
see it.
it became my like weekly reel where I present. Yeah, making these small sketches on small size panels, and they sell for pretty nice amounts. I'm happy
Yeah.
the way it
Well,
goes.
that's
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
Yeah. And then also, I don't know if you remember, but Clint actually was a gallery owner, and then he
yeah.
decided to make Faso um
True. Yeah,
for artists to have their websites and to sell through their website without, the
yeah,
gatekeeping of the galleries, which of course in the early 2000s and in the 90s was God, if you
yeah.
didn't have a gallery, you were no one. Today it's like
Exactly.
you got the
Yeah,
internet, you can do whatever the hell
yeah,
you want?
yeah. It gives so many options, and with all these new techniques where you can make like cool videos, and yeah, you can have the text written by the GPT. You don't need to do everything yourself now. That's so great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially because as
Before
artists, I mean, we have so much to do.
this, yeah,
So
it's too
much
much,
to
because
do.
I published a book a couple of years ago. It took me 1 year to make this book. Find a text writer, a photographer to make photos of the paintings, all this the editor, I don't know, you name it, everything that involves making a book. And I think if I look back and I maybe gonna make a book soon in nearby future, it will be less. I will need less people. I can do maybe much more on my own because of all these new developments. I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I
you
mean,
can
you have so
create a
many
website
tools
in a
now.
few seconds. You have many tools, of course. Doesn't mean that
Exactly.
will be all good to come out, but
No.
you can try. You can try.
Yeah, especially as a one person like company, basically, where you're
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
everything. It's a lot
exactly.
of help. It's a lot
Yeah,
of help. Yeah.
yeah, that's true. It helps.
Yeah. I just
Yeah,
remembered that you mentioned the quarantine event, which I don't know if you want to talk about
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Well, it's not like I'm the expert on that quarantine event, but because you mentioned your time with Odd Nedrum, and that sounded
Mhm.
so interesting, and that's I thought because I'm following masterclass at least once a year. I want to follow some masterclass with a painter just to get out of my comfort zone, and I find that very inspiring. I always end up doing exactly what I always did, but doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But for next year, I was really looking for something more like you described, like a mentorship, where
Mhm.
you find someone who can really inspire you to maybe take the concept of your work just a step further. So I read about the quarantine events. I only know for sure that Vincent Desiderio, that he is one of the mentors. I think this year was also Lita Cabelu and Guillermo de Gor. I always have a hard time pronouncing his name, but he makes these huge paintings of all these animals and blown up people to connect together with animals.
Is he
I don't know
Mexican
if you
or Spanish?
maybe. I thought Spanish
Because
actually.
is it Guillermo Lorca or
Yeah, Mallorca. Yeah,
oh,
something like
is
that.
he a
Yeah, yeah.
painter? Is
Yeah,
he a
yeah,
painter
he's a
and he paints
painter.
like the
Yeah.
children in the bed with like the jaguar
Yeah,
behind? He's
that's the
from
one.
Chile,
That's
I
the one.
think. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I know. But so he's on that
He's
island,
really good.
and you can just go to it's like Spanish islands. I think it's on even on other islands as well. And you cannot be in contact with social media. You cannot use your phone. It's pretty strict. And you will be guided. You can choose your mentor or they choose you. I don't know. There's a strict procedure for the selection events. It's not for everybody. It's for a small group of artists. Pretty expensive, but it's included like the meals and the stay, and it's not that bad if you make a calculation. But yeah,
Hmm.
that's I'm looking forward to doing that sort of thing that can be so inspiring, but scary. But I like to do scary things. You have
Yeah.
to challenge yourself. You have to
Yeah.
challenge yourself from time to time, don't you think? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's very inspiring. And actually it makes
Yeah.
me wanna look into it. I mean, maybe the price of it is almost like rent today anyway.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like the rent in my time when I was still living, like a student's house, or you had anti-squat houses where you pay like a few hundred. I
Yeah.
heard the stories is horrible. At this moment,
It's
everything
crazy.
for young people, they cannot live anywhere with their parents then, hopefully.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Oof. It's a
Mhm.
scary world out there, but at
Yeah.
least we have the internet where we can make money.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Well, thank you so much, Francine, for the fascinating and inspiring conversation. I am so
I hope
excited.
it was helpful. I hope it was helpful. It was pleasure to talk to you as well. Thanks for
Yeah,
asking me.
of course. And I hope we can talk again in the future about any other crazy developments that end up happening because I feel like you're always at the
Yeah.
forefront of like anything that's going on. Like Francine's there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm sure there's more development coming. I'm sure of it. It's going in such a big, fast tempo. It's amazing. All
Yeah.
these new models of all this AI. If I look back from like a month ago already, the images look completely different. So it's going really fast.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely. By the
yeah.
way, where can our listeners find more of your work?
So you have to just go to my Twitter account, just Twitter and then Francien Krieg AI. I have two accounts. I have one account with my paintings and one account with my AI work. And I also was sharing on Instagram. I think you can still find some of it. But at one point I thought I have to make a choice. Instagram is just for my paintings and not for AI. So I decided to not share too much of that anymore. So if you want to see my AI, you have to go to my Twitter account. And just contact me. Just reach out to me for people who want to, know more about it. I can always help out. I don't mind. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. And then also, of course, your website. That's where
Yeah.
people can read more about you.
Yeah. www.francienkrieg.com. It's a fast website.
Yeah. And it's
Still
very nice.
happy with
I
my.
love your website.
Yeah, I love it too. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so
Thanks.
much, Francine.
Thank you, Laura. Bye bye.
Doei.
Doei.